So in terms of the, taking you 8 years, what took the bulk of that time?
Fundraising, without a doubt.
Okay.
Fundraising.
So let's talk a little bit about that. We were just talking a little bit before, and you said 1/3 of the funding came from France. It's like, is she lionized there? Was that part of the interest for them in terms of? You had Jean Genet footage there, and and some of the protests that were taking place in France. So.
Well, I don't know if she's lionized, but they're not afraid of her. Being a communist is not a big deal, and really, it's a smaller story for me. There were two French producers that wanted to make a film about Angela Davis, and I had been smart enough to have a contract with her that prevented her from making other films about her anywhere in the world so that I could raise the money to make this film. And so I was like, no, you can't make your film. They're like, well, can we work together? I was like, I don't know. This is the story I'd like to tell. And think about 8 years. 8 years, my husband and my children have never known me not working on this film. I mean, never. It's so they know Angela Davis's name. They see her image because she, the stuff is around the house.
She's lived with you.
She's lit, exactly. And so they keep asking when they're going to meet her. But it's weird to explain that I'm not. It's not like we're friends. It's not like, hey, Ange, what's going on? Like we had a professional, journalistic, I suppose, documentary to subject relationship. And I'm grateful that she wasn't up in the mix of making the film. I mean, that can be a whole other thing.
Yeah. Do you think this was any more challenging than any other kind of documentary in terms of finding the funding, like maybe compared to your Chisholm documentary?
The Chisholm documentary, in a way, was easier because I was a first-time filmmaker, and people love to
That's a sexy idea. Ooh,
it's sexy. And also, Shirley Chisholm was uncontested territory. It's like, that's a great story. Here's this woman who runs for president and loses. Yay, make that film. But you're laughing because there's kind of truth in that. It's like, well, that's a nice little story. Go ahead, young lady, make that film. And here's this story, and I had no idea really what I was getting into. Communism, people are still afraid of it. She was on the top 10 list, and so there's a sense of fear around. And you say her name, and people automatically either like, oh, Angela. And so you have to deal with all of these responses that have nothing to do with the story, nothing to do with the truth, and nothing to do with the work of filmmaking.